Um, Triassic World, 248 to 208 million years ago.
The Triassic climate 248 million years ago was hot and dry everywhere, with little temperature variation between summer and winter. The center of Pangaea, the single landmass that made up the Earth's continents, was far from water and was mainly hot, sandy desert. In wetter, fertile areas near coasts or rivers, vegetation was thick and lush. Ferns and horsetails covered the ground, and above them grew groves of larger conifers, ginkgos, and cycads.
Cannibal parents. The first complete coelophysis skeletons were discovered at the uh, 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 Ghost Ranch, Ghost Ranch in New Mexico in 1947. Edwin Colbert, born 1905, the U.S. paleontologist who found them, noticed that two adult skeletons had the bones of young ones in their stomachs. At first, it seemed that these were mothers carrying unborn babies. However, from the large size of the young, it is more likely that they had been eaten by their parents. Paleontology, scientists who studies fossils. Paleontology is a science dealing with the life of past geological periods as known from the fossil remains. Here, excavating at Ghost Ranch, Edwin Colbert raises his pickaxe to strike the rock containing the fossilized coelophysis bones. Yeah, South America. Herrera's dinosaur, one of the oldest known dinosaurs, is named after Victoriano Herrera, an Argentinian goatherd. Herrera stumbled upon its fossilized bones in San Juan Desert region of central Argentina in 1959. He showed his find to the famous paleontologist Osvaldo Reig, born 1929, who collected the leg bones, hip bones, and back bones from the site. In 1963, the dinosaur was named Herrerasaurus in honor of its find. Here you can see here the mountain skeleton. This skeleton by Herrerasaurus was mounted in the Museum of Universidad Nacional de Tucumán, Argentina in 1965. Herrerasaurus finds. Scientists studied Herrerasaurus bones discovered by Victoriano Herrera and noticed that part of the legs and hips were very primitive, suggesting that creature did not belong to either of two main groups of dinosaurs. The ornithischians, bird hip dinosaurs, so saurischians, lizard hip dinosaurs. They decided that Herrerasaurus may have been closely related to the ancestors of both these groups. It was an important discovery, and the scientists were eager to find a complete skeleton. Valle de la Juna, the San Juan area of Argentina where Victoriano Herrera discovered the first Herrerasaurus bones, is now part of the Valle de la Juna Valley of the Moon National Park. In 1988, Polo Serino, born 1957 from the University of Chicago, together with Jose Bonaparte, born 1928, and other American and Argentinian scientists went on a 6 weeks expedition to the park, hoping to find more fossils. The team is lucky and found many bones, including Herrerasaurus skeleton, complete apart from the neck and skull. Serrano's lucky hunch. Towards the end of the exhibition, Serrano realized that the team had missed out a small section of ground in their search. He returned to the spot, which was over an hour drive away, just 15 meters, 50 feet from where he stopped his truck. He found the first Herrerasaurus skull ever discovered, together with an almost complete skeleton. The skull, with its extra jaw hinge, proved that Herrerasaurus was a flesh-eating dinosaur with tremendous bite. Little mouse reptile. The Argentinian paleontologist Jose Bonaparte, born 1928, together with his colleague Martin Wenz, named Musaurus patagonicus, Patagonian mouse reptile, in 1979. With a body only 20 centimeters, 8-inch long, this tiny dinosaur could have been held in a human hand. Several incomplete skeletons of Musaurus patagonicus were found curled up with two eggs, indicating that they were newly hatched when they did. Here, the dinosaur expert Jose Bonaparte's work has produced valuable information on South American dinosaurs. South American discoveries. When strange fossil bones were discovered by Neuquén district of Argentina in 1882, they were sent to scientist Florentino Amigno, 1854 to 1911, who identified them as dinosaurs from Cretaceous period, 144 to 65 million years ago. In the late 880s, Santiago Ruth, 1852-1924, from Museum of La Plata, discovered more Cretaceous fossils in Chubut province, including leg and foot bones of the large sauropod, lizard-footed dinosaur, Argyrosaurus. Fenrich von Huene, who in 1990 published a long work on the Cretaceous dinosaurs of Argentina, discovered two slender sauropods, Antarctosaurus and Laplatasaurus, in the 1920s. Wealth of find. Over the last few decades, the more than a dozen Argentinian scientists have discovered and named many new dinosaurs. Foremost among these scientists is Jose Bonaparte, who has excavated bone beds from the Triassic 248 to 208 million years ago, Jurassic 208 to 144 million years ago, and Cretaceous periods. His discoveries included Triassic prosauropod, early lizard-footed dinosaur, Riojasaurus, 1969, based on an almost complete skeleton from La Rioja province. New flesh eaters from Argentina include Piatnisaurus, 1979, and the horned species Cartonosaurus, 1985. Isolated continent. As the world landmass have gradually moved apart over millions of years, the South American continent has become more and more isolated. South American fossils from the Jurassic period are very similar to the find from the North America, Europe, and Asia, but Argentinian fossils from Cretaceous period, when the continent had completely separated, look quite different. Saltosaurus, named in 1980, was the first sauropod to be identified as armored. It had bony plates and studs embedded in its hide. Until then, it had been assumed that the only Ankylosaurus, a group of armored dinosaurs, had such protection. Patagonian giant. In 1995, an unexpected find was made by Patagonia, Argentina, when bones of Giganotosaurus, Giganotosaurus Carolini were unearthed. This recently discovered flesh-eating dinosaur was even larger and more powerful than Tyrannosaurus and 30 million years older. Now, yeah, Triassic bone beds. Fenrich von Huene, 1875 to 1969, made his most spectacular Triassic dinosaur find in 1921, just 48 kilometers, 30 miles from his German birthplace, Tübingen. He excavated a large quarry in the Nectar River Valley, Württemberg, shifting huge amount of heavy rock to reveal two bone beds crammed with thousands of bones. Among them were whole skeleton of Plateosaurus, a large dinosaur named in 1837 by Hermann von Meyer. Here you can see well-traveled here. Friedrich von Huene hunted for dinosaur bones as far afield as the United States and Africa. Triassic period. The Triassic period, 248 to 208 million years ago, was the first phase of the Mesozoic era, age of the middle life, often called age of dinosaurs. All lands formed one huge supercontinent known as Pangaea, all Earth, of which the northern part is called Laurasia and the southern part is Gondwana. Everywhere the climate was mild, warm or hot. No ice sheet covered polar lands, and desert spread into inland regions. Flowering plants had not yet evolved. Comfort, cycads, palm-like tropical plants, and ferns grew in the moist areas. Life on land was dominated by prehistoric reptiles, animals that have waterproof skin and lay eggs suited to dry conditions. Reptiles also took the air and seas. Towards the end of the Triassic period, many of the older reptiles were wiped out, but new kinds took their place. The most successful of these proved to be the dinosaurs. Lands, Laurasia comprised North America, Europe, and uh, much of what is now Asia. Gondwana consists of Africa, Arabia, India, Australia, Antarctica, and South America. The South Pole was located over the ocean. Whole Pangaea was slowly drifting north as one great landmass. This supercontinent began to show the first signs of future breakup after the middle of the Triassic period, when cracks started to appear in the part of the eastern North America, western and central Europe, and the northwestern Africa. Plants that flourish in Laurasia were those adapted to dry climates, such as ginkgos, trees with fan-shaped leaves, and seed ferns and cycads. The biggest trees were conifers. Ginkgos from an open canopy of medium-sized trees, and cycads range from short, squat forms to tall ones. Tree ferns created an underlying layer of vegetation in the forest, and low ferns formed savannas, tropical or subtropical grassland with scattered trees in drier open areas that would be grassland today. Moist open land supported dense growth of horsetails, non-flowering bush-like plants. Close to the equator and in drier region, patchy conifer and cycad forest thrived. Stand of tall seed ferns formed the forest in Gondwana. Later in the Triassic period, ferns started to be replaced by cycad conifers. Life on land, reptiles ruled life on the land during the Triassic period. Plant eaters included hippopotamus-like Uh, uh, Dicynodonts squad, pig-like rhinoceros, pig-like rhynchosaurs, and mammal-like plant-eating uh, cynodonts. Cynodonts. There were formidable flesh-eating cynodonts as well. Uh, Dicynodonts, rhinoceros, and most cynodonts died out in the first of two mysterious mass extinctions. Their place was largely taken by uh, thecodonts, uh, the reptile subgroup that gave rise to the dinosaurs in the late Triassic period, but these also died out in the second of the extinctions. Survivors included turtles and crocodiles, alligators, and later extinct reptiles, dinosaurs, and tiny mammals. Both of the main dinosaur groups emerged during the late Triassic period. Among Saurischian lizard-hipped dinosaurs were two-legged flesh-eating theropods. Among Saurischians, lizard-hipped dinosaurs were two-legged flesh-eating theropods, beast-footed dinosaurs, and four-legged plant-eating prosauropods, early lizard-footed dinosaurs, the first big high-browsing plant-eaters. Early Ornithischians, bird-hipped dinosaurs, were small two-legged plant-eaters with no sea to stop them. Dinosaurs quickly colonized the world. Life in the air. Small reptiles with wings of skin and scales took gliding flights from tree to tree. These wings may have been supported by long ribs, or they may simply have been featherless scales growing from arms to legs, or webs of the skin between front and hind limbs. Late Triassic animals like these may have given rise to flurry-bodied, warm-blooded pterosaurus flying reptiles. These had a large head, a short body, and long skin wings supported by elongated fourth finger bones. Unlike their gliding ancestor, pterosaurs were capable of powered flight. Life in water, where various reptile groups invaded the shallow Triassic seas. Sharp-toothed, fish-eating nothosaurs, slender reptiles with a long, thrusting tail and sharp, interlocking teeth grew up to 4 meters, 30 feet long, and had small head and paddle-like limbs. Sea-like plagodons, sturdy sea reptiles, crushed shellfish between broad, flat-back teeth. Ichthyosaurs, streamlined, dolphin-like reptiles with fins, flippers, and long, narrow jaws up to about 15 meters, 50 feet long, were the reptiles best adapted to the sea. Among their prey were the big swimming mollusks, soft-bodied animals without a backbone protected by a hard shell, called ammonoids, mollusks with a large head, tentacles, and ability to squirt water inwards in order to swim backwards.